The phone call came on a Tuesday afternoon. Sophie, it's Mom. Hi Mom. What's up? I'm calling about your father's birthday party this Saturday. We've decided to keep it small this year. Just immediate family. I paused in the middle of reviewing a contract. Hey, what time should I arrive? Oh honey, I don't think you understood. We're keeping it to just your sister and brother. You know, the people who've been around more consistently. The words hit like a slap, but I kept my voice steady. I see. It's nothing personal, Sophie. We just want a peaceful celebration without any tension. You understand, don't you? You've been so distant lately. Distant. That was the word she chose. Not busy. Not building a career. Distant. I understand, I said quietly. Have fun. We will. Thank you for being mature about this. I knew you'd understand. She hung up before I could respond. I sat at my desk in my downtown office, staring at the contract I'd been reviewing. A $4.3 million property acquisition. My phone showed a photo of my family from 5 years ago, back when I was still included in immediate family. That was before I'd quietly bailed them out of bankruptcy. Before I'd anonymously paid off their mortgage. Before I'd restructured their debts through a third-party firm so they'd never know their youngest daughter had saved them from financial ruin. I'd done it all silently through LLCs and intermediaries, because I knew how they'd react if they knew. The pity. The guilt. The obligation. It was easier this way. Or so I'd thought. I texted my assistant, cancel my meetings tomorrow. I have a feeling I'm going to need the day free. She responded immediately, everything okay? Just a hunch. Saturday came and went. I spent it at my apartment working on a new investment proposal, occasionally wondering how Dad's party was going. What cake they'd chosen. Whether my sister brought her famous potato salad. If my brother made his usual speech about Dad being his hero. Whether anyone mentioned that I wasn't there. Sunday morning my phone rang at 6:47 a.m. I stared at the screen for 3 rings before answering. Sophie. Her voice was panicked, tearful. Oh God, Sophie, something terrible has happened. I sat up in bed. What's wrong? The bank, they're foreclosing on the house. They sent a letter yesterday right after the party. We have 30 days to pay or they're taking everything. Your father is devastated. We don't know what to do. I got out of bed walking to my window. The city was just waking up, early morning light reflecting off the buildings. How much do you owe? $340,000. It's the mortgage, the home equity line, some credit cards we had to use when your father's business was struggling. Sophie, we've been trying to manage it, but the payments got too high and then we missed a few months and now, she dissolved into sobs. Where's Dad? He's in the bedroom. He won't come out. He's so ashamed. Your sister and brother don't know yet. We didn't want to ruin the party yesterday. The party I wasn't invited to because I was distant. What about Ashley and Ryan? I asked, naming my sister and brother. Can they help? Ashley's money is all tied up in her business. Ryan just bought that new house, he's stretched thin. We can't ask them, Sophie. They've worked so hard for what they have. Unlike me, apparently. The implication was clear. I was the fallback option, the one with nothing to lose, the one who could be asked because my success didn't count the same way theirs did. Mom, I said quietly, I need to ask you something. Anything, honey. Please, we're desperate. Do you remember 3 years ago when you almost lost the house? When Dad's business nearly went bankrupt? He sniffled. Of course I remember. It was the worst time of our lives. Do you remember how you got through it? The bank restructured our loans. Some financial company offered us better terms, helped us consolidate. It was a miracle, really. Why are you asking about that now? And 2 years ago when you were behind on property taxes? Someone paid them. An anonymous donor. We never found out who. Sophie, why? And last year when Dad needed that surgery and your insurance only covered half? The hospital said a charity covered the rest. Her voice was getting uncertain now. Sophie, what are you getting at? I took a deep breath. Mom, who do you think that financial company was? Who do you think paid your property taxes? Who do you think covered Dad's surgery? Silence. It was you, she whispered. It was me. But how? You're just what, Mom? I kept my voice level. Just the daughter who wasn't important enough to invite to Dad's birthday party. Sophie, that's not. The financial company was one of my LLCs. The property tax payment came from another. The hospital charity was a foundation I set up specifically for situations like that. I've been keeping your family afloat for 3 years while you all assumed I was barely getting by myself. I don't understand. Mom's voice was small now. How do you have that kind of money? I'm a commercial real estate developer. I've been building my portfolio for 7 years. I currently own 19 properties worth approximately $127 million. My personal net worth is around $31 million. I've been financially independent since I was 26. Another long silence. $31 million, she repeated. Yes. And you never told us? Would you have believed me if I had? I asked. When I started my business, I tried to tell Dad. He laughed and said I should get a real job with benefits. When I bought my first property, I invited you all to see it. No one came. When I tried to explain what I did, everyone changed the subject to talk about Ashley's marketing promotion or Ryan's new car. So I stopped trying. We didn't know, Mom said weakly. You didn't ask. I walked to my kitchen, started making coffee. But here's what I need you to understand, Mom. I've been helping you for years. Not because I wanted credit or recognition. Not because I wanted you to owe me. But because you're my parents and I love you and I didn't want you to lose everything. Oh, Sophie. I'm not finished. My voice was firm now. Yesterday you told me I wasn't family enough to attend Dad's birthday party. You said Ashley and Ryan were enough. You said I'd been distant. But the truth is, I've been the only one close enough to see how much trouble you were really in. I've been the only one paying attention to the warning signs, the missed payments, the mounting debt. I've been the only one actually helping. We didn't mean to exclude you, Mom sobbed. Ashley said you'd been canceling family dinners and Ryan said you never returned his calls and we just thought. You thought I didn't care. You thought I was too busy with my own life to be bothered with family. You never considered that maybe I was busy building something. That maybe I was working 80-hour weeks not because I didn't love you, but because I was trying to create the financial stability that could protect all of us. I heard Dad's voice in the background asking who Mom was talking to. Then the phone shifted. Sophie. Dad's voice was rough, like he'd been crying. Is what your mother's saying true? Have you been helping us all this time? Yes, Dad. Why didn't you tell us? Because you wouldn't have accepted it if you knew it was from me. When Ryan loaned you $10,000 2 years ago, you thanked him for a year straight. You bragged about what a good son he was. But when I tried to offer help, you told me I needed to focus on my own finances first. You assumed I couldn't afford it. You assumed I was struggling. We were trying to protect you, Dad said. From what? From being successful. From being capable. I poured my coffee, added cream. Dad, I've been protecting you. For 3 years. But you didn't want protection from me. You wanted it from Ryan or Ashley, the children who fit your narrative of success. That's not fair, he said, but his voice lacked conviction. Isn't it? You have 3 children. One is a marketing director at a mid-size firm. One is a sales manager at a car dealership. And one owns a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio. But you only invited 2 of them to your birthday party. I heard him pass the phone back to Mom. Sophie, what do we do? Mom asked. About the foreclosure? What do you want me to do? Can you help us? Again. I stood in my kitchen watching steam rise from my coffee cup. This was the moment. The decision point. I'll make you a deal, I said. Anything. I'll pay off your entire debt. The mortgage, the home equity line, the credit cards. All $340,000. I'll make the payment directly to the bank tomorrow. You'll own your house free and clear. Oh my God, Sophie, thank you. I'm not finished. In exchange, you're going to do 3 things. First, you're going to tell Ashley and Ryan the truth about where the money came from. All of it, the past 3 years in this payment. No more anonymous help. Okay, yes, of course. Second, you're going to attend a family financial counseling session with me. We're going to create a real budget, set up proper savings, and figure out how you got to this point. This is the last bailout. Next time you handle it yourselves. We will, we promise. Third, I said, and my voice hardened slightly, you're never going to exclude me from family events again. You're never going to dismiss my career as less important than my siblings. You're never going to treat my success as less legitimate because I don't talk about it the way Ryan does or because I don't fit your image of what success should look like. You're going to respect me and my choices, even when you don't understand them. Silence on the other end. Mom? Do we have a deal? Yes, she whispered. Yes, Sophie. We have a deal. Good. I'll transfer the money to my attorney today. It'll be in the bank's account by tomorrow morning. You'll have confirmation by tomorrow afternoon. How do we thank you for this? You start by keeping your promises. And maybe by trusting that when I say I'm busy, I'm not abandoning the family. I'm building something that can protect us all. We should have trusted you, Mom said. We should have asked. We should have seen what you were doing. Yes, I agreed. You should have. But now you know. We hung up shortly after. I called my attorney, arranged the payment and sent the necessary documentation. By Monday afternoon my parents' house was theirs free and clear. $340,000, transferred with a few keystrokes, solving a crisis they'd thought was insurmountable. Tuesday morning my phone rang again. Ashley. Sophie? Mom told me what you did. What you've been doing. Hi, Ashley. I don't even know what to say. I had no idea you were that successful. I thought you were just doing okay, maybe struggling a little. I know what you thought. Why didn't you tell us? I tried. Nobody listened. A long pause. That's not entirely fair. You were always so quiet about your work. You never bragged or shared details like Ryan and I do. I shouldn't have to brag for my success to be real, I said. And I did share details. You just didn't ask follow-up questions. You were always more interested in talking about your own promotions and campaigns. Ouch. It's the truth, Ashley. When I said I'd closed a big deal, you'd say, "That's nice," and change the subject. When Ryan closed a car sale, everyone wanted to hear the whole story. Because Ryan tells the story in an entertaining way. Because Ryan is a man in sales and that fits the narrative of success you all understand. I'm a woman in real estate investment and that doesn't. Another pause. You're right. I'm sorry, Sophie. I didn't realize I was doing that. Most people don't. Mom said you paid off their entire debt. That's over $300,000. $340,000, yes. Just, like that? You can just afford to do that. Yes. How much are you worth, Sophie? Really? Enough that $340,000 is significant but not devastating. Enough that I've been able to help our parents for 3 years without it affecting my own financial security. Enough that I don't have to worry about money the way I used to. I feel like an idiot, Ashley said. I've been worried about you for years. Offering to help you with your resume, sending you job postings, thinking you needed career advice. And the whole time you were more successful than you imagined. Yes. Why didn't you correct me? Would you have believed me if I had? I asked. Or would you have thought I was exaggerating or lying or confused about my own finances? She didn't answer immediately. Probably the latter, she admitted finally. God, Sophie, we really didn't know you at all, did we? You knew the version of me you wanted to see. The baby sister who needed guidance and help. Not the woman who'd built something substantial. What changed? What made you finally tell us? I didn't tell you. I had no choice. Mom called crying about the foreclosure, and I had to decide whether to help again in silence or finally make it clear what I've been doing all along. Are you angry at us? Ashley asked quietly. I considered the question. I was angry yesterday when I found out Dad's birthday party was family only, and I wasn't included. I've been frustrated for years. But anger? Oh, not really. I'm just tired of being invisible. You're not invisible, Sophie. Then why did it take a financial crisis for anyone to see me? She didn't have an answer for that. Ryan called an hour later. His conversation was shorter, more defensive. Ashley told me about the money. I could have helped, you know. I have resources. You just bought a house, Ryan. Mom said you were stretched thin. I could have figured something out. But you didn't know there was a problem to figure out, I pointed out. None of you knew. Because none of you were paying attention to the warning signs. And you were. I was. I've been monitoring their finances for 3 years through the restructuring I arranged. I knew exactly how bad things were getting. That's kind of invasive, Sophie. It's protective. There's a difference. Is there? You were secretly tracking our parents' finances without telling anyone. I was making sure they didn't lose their house while everyone else was too busy with their own lives to notice they were drowning. My voice was sharper now. Don't try to make me the villain here, Ryan. I'm the only reason they still have a home. I'm not saying you're a villain. I'm saying it's weird that you did all this without telling anyone. You mean it's weird that I helped without seeking credit? That I fixed problems without needing everyone to know how capable I am? Because that's what you do, Ryan. Every time you make a sale, every time you hit a target, you make sure everyone knows. You post about it on social media. You bring it up at family dinners. You need the validation. And you don't. I needed to be seen. That's different. But I wasn't going to beg for it. So instead you let us all think you were struggling while secretly being a millionaire? I never said I was struggling. You assumed it. All of you. He was quiet for a moment. Yeah. We did. I drive a practical car because I prefer it. I live in a modest apartment because I don't need much space. I don't wear expensive clothes because I don't care about fashion. But you all interpreted that as failure. As someone who couldn't afford better. It never occurred to any of you that I might be choosing this life deliberately. I guess we owe you an apology, Ryan said. You owe me respect, I corrected. Apologies are easy. Respect means actually seeing who I am instead of who you assumed I was. Fair enough. Wednesday my parents invited me to lunch. I met them at a quiet restaurant near their house, the house I'd just saved. Dad looked older than I'd seen him, stress etched into his face. Mom's eyes were red from crying. They both stood when I arrived, hugging me tightly. Thank you, Dad said. Sophie, thank you. The bank confirmed the payment this morning. We're in the clear. You're welcome. We sat down. There was an awkward silence. We need to apologize, Mom finally said. For everything. For not inviting you to the birthday party. For not seeing what you'd been doing for us. For assuming you were struggling when you were actually thriving. For making you feel invisible, Dad added. That's what Ashley said you felt. Invisible. God, Sophie, I'm so sorry. Why did you exclude me from the party? I asked directly. Really? They exchanged glances. Mom spoke first. You'd canceled the last 3 family dinners. You didn't come to Ashley's birthday in August. You didn't make it to Ryan's housewarming. We thought you didn't want to be around us anymore. That you'd grown apart from the family. I was working, I said. I had client meetings, property closings, negotiations that couldn't be rescheduled. I explained that every time. We know, Dad said. But we interpreted it as excuses. As you pulling away. We thought maybe we'd done something wrong, or you were going through something you didn't want to share, or you just didn't prioritize family anymore. So you stopped inviting me? We thought we were respecting your distance, Mom said. Giving you space. Not forcing you to come to events you clearly didn't want to attend. But you didn't ask me, I said. You didn't call and say, Sophie, we feel like you're pulling away, what's going on? You just made assumptions and excluded me based on those assumptions. You're right, Dad said. We made the same mistake with your career that we made with your attendance. We assumed instead of asking. We interpreted instead of listening. Why do you think that is? I asked. Why was it so easy to assume the worst about me? They were quiet for a long time. Finally, Mom spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. Because you're different from them. Ashley and Ryan, they're loud about their successes. They share every detail, ask for advice, involve us in their decisions. You've always been more private. More independent. And I think we mistook that independence for struggle. We thought if you were doing well, you'd be more like them. But I'm not like them, I said. I've never been like them. I'm quieter, more reserved, more internal. But that doesn't mean I'm failing or struggling or don't care about family. It just means I process things differently. We know that now, Dad said. God, Sophie, we know that now. The question is, can you forgive us for not knowing it sooner? I looked at my parents. These people who'd raised me, loved me imperfectly, and nearly lost everything while I quietly kept them afloat. I can forgive you, I said. But I need to know this changes things. Really changes things. Not just for a few weeks until the crisis is over and everyone forgets. I need to know you see me differently now. We do, Mom promised. We see you, Sophie. Finally. Really see you. Prove it, I said. Start asking about my work. Not in a pitying way but with genuine curiosity. Stop comparing me to Ashley and Ryan. Stop assuming that because I live differently I'm struggling. Trust that I know what I'm doing with my life. We will, Dad said. I promise you we will. The lunch continued and slowly the conversation became easier. They asked about my properties, my investment strategy, how I'd gotten started. Real questions genuinely interested. Not perfect but better. As we were leaving, Mom hugged me again. I'm sorry about the birthday party, she said. If I could take it back. You can't, I said. But you can make sure it never happens again. You can make sure I'm always included in immediate family. You will be. I promise. 3 weeks later, I attended a family dinner at my parents' house. All of us, Mom, Dad, Ashley and her husband Ryan and his girlfriend and me. Everyone knew the truth now. Everyone understood what I'd been doing, who I'd become. The dynamic was different. They asked me questions. They listened to my answers. They stopped making jokes about my car or my apartment. They stopped offering career advice I didn't need. It wasn't perfect. Old habits die hard. But it was progress. As we were cleaning up after dinner, Ashley pulled me aside. Thank you, she said. For saving them. For being the one who saw what was coming and did something about it. You're welcome. I want to do better, she said. It's in you. At being a better sister. Will you let me try? I looked at her, my older sister who'd always seen me as the baby, the one who needed protecting and guidance. Who was now seeing me as an equal maybe for the first time. Yeah, I said. I'll let you try. That night, driving home in my practical car to my modest apartment, I felt lighter than I had in years. Not because my family finally knew about my success. Not because they were impressed or grateful or guilty. But because I'd finally been seen. Not as distant. Not as struggling. Not as the invisible youngest child. Just as Sophie. Successful, capable, independent Sophie. Who'd been there all along if anyone had bothered to look.